Okay, so thank you for having me and for all the other great lectures. I'm Sunna, and I'm a digital artist at Gagarin. And my background is in film and animation and visual effects in film and TV shows. But I've been working at Gagarin for the past a bit over 3 years now. So Gagarin has 30 years of experience in creating award-winning interactive experiences. And we mostly design for exhibitions, museums, and brands. And we are very passionate about weaving education, information, and data into compelling stories that leave a lasting impression on the visitors. So we're here to talk about how we can use technology to preserve cultural heritage. And many of them are outdoors. So how might we design an experience which allows people to be outdoors and have a seamless extended reality experience? I'm going to share insight into two of the recent projects, XR projects that we've done. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we made some decisions and a little bit more behind the scenes. So I will start with Thingvellir, the well-known Thingvellir. I think most people know that place. And that was launched in June last year. So we already made, 5 years ago, we made an indoor exhibition. It's quite a large exhibition in Thingvellir called Heart of Iceland. And here you can see some images from the installations. And we were then asked to come up with a solution, how to make a solution that would work outside, that would highlight some of the archaeological findings in the area. So a little bit about Thingvellir, what we took in mind when we designed this. So this is how most people know Thingvellir, the beautiful nature and the heart of the nation, first parliament. But it's also a remote area with heavy winters, and conditions can be quite harsh in the place. And when I say harsh, they can get quite, very harsh. So this is a little bit about the concept. So what happened in the park, and it's an outdoors in a rural environment with no access to electricity. And we want to show how the events happen in that place. So what could it have looked like when they gathered here every year? So the concept is to see into the past of Alþingi in Thingvellir. So our solution is what we call the Outdoor Explorer, and this is on a mobile XR version. And the concept of this is that it's a simple QR code that you scan and which is easy to use. Most people know QR codes. It works on smartphones. There's no app needed, like Eric talked about. You don't need to do the extra step of downloading something, waiting for it to download, and people don't have the patience for that sometimes. So it just opens up and opens up in the browser. So it's quite fast to load. And this works in any weather and all year round. So you can, So this is how it works. There was a new pathway built in Thingvellir in this area, and so we placed signs along the pathways with informations and illustrations. And there's also a QR code in the corner where you can scan and look into the past. And I have a little video for you. So this was a short introduction. So I'm gonna go a bit into the creation of this. So on the right you can see a map, a top-down map of the area, and the yellow line is where the new pathway is, and all the archaeological findings, the houses and booths. And we decided to map out where we wanted to have the scenes happen, so you can see the numbers there. So then we made panorama pictures and started to draw the stories, so we kind of came up with stories, what's happening there, like who is, what are those people, what are we doing, and then we were also partnered with some archaeologists and the client, of course, to decide how we're going to do the layouts, how many houses are, how big of a, not town, but of the area, how many houses were, how many people, and such stuff. So it's also some notes from the clients, what we were going to choose. Then we took some 360 photos from the location of each scene. And it's a 360 because we wanted the user to be able to look all around. And we did green screen filming with actors and contacted the Viking community and got all the right clothing, and so it felt real. And then for the post-processing of the Vikings, we kind of call them ghosts because it was a decision to make them stylized like these ghosts, because that's how one of the installations in the indoor exhibition is. So we wanted to have it in the same style. Then it was time to do the 3D assets. There were not so many visual references for how these so-called booths look like, but we got information from the archaeologists that they were most likely with tents on top. I mean, some houses, but it was a mixture of. So we made quite a few iterations of like how they should be. And on the right side, you can see I usually make like a proxy, just like a simple cube, and then where we place them before I put the actual models in. So this is kind of the process. And here you can see like step by step. So this is the before picture, which is how it looks like today. Then we needed to do some environment cleanup to remove all the paths and the buildings, add a little bit more trees and grass. Then we added the houses and the other assets, and then the ghosts or the Vikings on top. And here's a side-by-side before and after, and in the end of the presentation I will give you a QR code to test, so you can test the scenes out yourselves. And one last thing about this project, it's just a small fun fact. So on the signs on the pathway you have these illustrations, and this is the scene where Gunnar and Hofsstaðir were the lovers. And that is actually me and my co-worker as a reference models for this is actually the software developer that did the app, and I'm the creator, so I thought it was quite funny that we are them in this. Okay, so next. So Hofsstaðir is another cultural heritage place in Iceland, and I think it's a bit lesser known because it's a bit hidden. At least maybe the crowd knows better, but I didn't know about this place before this project. And this is an XR project that we launched just recently in August this year. So this is how the site looks like, or this photo is taken before we did the installation. So it's a room. There remains of an old Viking longhouse that was discovered somewhere in the 1980s, where they were actually building a kindergarten, and they were digging up the ground and found the ruins, so they had to change the design of it. So they preserved the area and built a small park around it. And yeah, so this is how it looks like. So the concept is, it's an early Viking longhouse and in an urban environment. And I don't know if you can see it. It's like, this is Garðabær. If you don't see it, it's here. See that? So it's kind of cramped between a parking lot and a kindergarten, and this is Garðabær next to it. But but here, because it's in the city, we have access to electricity, so we got more options of what we wanted to do with it. And we want to show what life would be like in that place, in that time. So who lived there? What could have been their day-to-day activities, and the concept is to travel back in time to this place in Hofsstaðir. So this is another outdoor explorer, but in this case we went with a binocular, an XR binocular. We really wanted to have like a physical installation at this place, because it's not as harsh weather as in Thingvellir, so and a little bit different. So we also think that the binoculars, when you see a binocular, you want to go to it, you want to look through it. So they're very easy to use, accessible, and very inviting. And because we have electricity, we have computer power, so we could have higher quality content there. So this is how it works. There are just three binoculars placed in the park. You go up to them, there's a button that triggers the experience. I have a video of that too. So here comes the fun part, behind the scenes. This is always my favorite. So here are some of the first storyboards. Like I said, we have three binoculars, so three different views. Two of them are widescreen, which you can pan around, and you trigger different animations. And the one on the right is a static one, where you see the longhouse building up. So these are like some of the early sketches that we did on the views. And we wanted to have this here and there, and created some stories around it. My first assignment was, well, one of my first assignments was to start to map out the area, because I was supposed to build up the house and put the assets, and I wanted to have the scale correct and then all the measurements to make it easier. So I'm also a drone enthusiast, like Thor, and I was happy to be able to use my drone, and it's actually my first time doing a photogrammetry with a drone, so I was quite excited. So I flew up my drone and took many photos all around the site, which I gathered in a software that makes a point cloud, and from that I got the textures and everything that created that model that you can see on the bottom left. And I just find these texture maps really funny. It looks like probably very abstract to you, but this photo in the middle is all the small textures, the material and the colors of the model. There were in comparison to Thingvellir, there were a bit more reference images that I could use for this project. I used Thingvellir a lot, which is of course a replica of a place there, and I had some drawings and more material to work with. So the 3D assets, here's some photos from that. Like I said, I used the model from the photogrammetry as a base to build up on. So yeah, you can see the roof, like the roof sticks and a bit of the build up there. Like this colorful image is actually when I'm painting because I recreated the whole environment, so I'm painting the ground, the grass, the rocks, the straws, flowers. So it's, yeah, that's that. And then we had to also alter the environment, because obviously when you are in the place, you just see the houses, you're in the middle of the city. But in these times, like you see on the bottom where we altered, you could actually see to the ocean, you could see the land. So that was a bit of a, we had to recreate that and kind of think out how that really looked like before all these houses and the city was built. And also went to Heiðmörk to take reference photos of trees and bushes, because apparently at this time, this is like the 10th, 11th century, there were much more trees in the area. Again, green screen filming with Viking people. We even brought a horse on set, which was a fun experience. And this picture of the woman weaving is actually quite interesting, because these rocks, they're called looms, I think looms. These are actually the rocks that were found at the site of Hofsstaðir, and we actually. So here's the step by step how it is with the environment, the people, and a side by side picture of how it looks today and how it looks like in the binoculars. I wanted to mention this one because technology is always evolving, and AI has been, artificial intelligence has been very skyrocketing in the last 1-2 years. So for this, I actually use AI for this part. So you can see the top. First we made the static binocular. It was a widescreen, that you can see. But then later, before the opening, we had to change it to a square because we changed the view. So I thought it was going to be like a week of work or something or maybe not a week, but some days of work to fix it, I need to fix the ground and everything. But thanks to AI, I was able to do it in less than 10 minutes. So that was an easy fix, and I think using stuff like this is going to be more and more happening. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the last slide from that. I just wanted to mention that these are just 2 projects that we have done recently. We have a lot of other projects, other like use of other, like we have VR, AR, and XR, and all kinds of other technology to tell our stories. So yeah, thank you for joining, and here you can scan if you want to try out the Thingvellir app. I think we also have it somewhere on paper if you don't touch it.